Hiya, it's Kerry from Mobilates, just welcoming you all to another mobility Pilates session with Virtual Village Hall. So thank you for having me, Virtual Village Hall, as usual. It's always a pleasure. So we're going to carve out half an hour of gentle mobility, a little bit of classical music in the background. Hope it's about the right level for you. We're going to start with a bit of breathing, but do drop into the comments, give me a wave, let me know how you are, where you are, how you're doing. Hiya Irene, nice to see you. It's a bit of a chilly one today, so I will get us warmed up in a minute, but let's start with a little bit of breath. Hello Jean, good to see you too. So just rest. Hello Alan, I'm getting regulars now, I recognise all your names. I need to know more. Rest a hand on your upper chest here, rest a hand on your belly. And we're going to try and breathe in to the belly, up here around the ribs and the sides and the back, up into the chest. So breath's going in through your nose, relax here first, otherwise it's not going to be able to go in there with your diaphragm travelling down. So you feel the swell here, and then it just ripples up here, fills a little here, up here. And as you breathe out through your nose, through your mouth, just feel everything just go inwards a little. So we're trying to get out of just breathing up here, like when we're really stressed and that sort of breath. We don't want that, we want to relax. A few more like that, just in your own time. In through your nose. It's a slight pause rather than a hold, and then just letting it go through your nose, through your mouth. Feeling that deflation. One more like this. I can feel my shoulders just dropping down. Oh, that's good. Right, let's get into alignment. So if you're standing, we're trying to get our feet parallel, pointing forwards, hip width, and that's your hip bones here, not our outer hips. If you're sitting with your legs at a right angle, about 2 fists apart, and so that your legs are a little bit off the chair, about halfway along your seat is good. And then just starting to stand or sit taller. Think of the top of your head going a little higher, your spine just lengthening, opening out here, across the collarbone. And as I do that, I know that my shoulders go from this to that. So it's not how I can maintain it all day, but it feels good to open it up. Now, when I do that, there's a tendency to do this, sort of like a chicken. So I'm going to bring that back too. And when you bring that back, that lengthens your neck. So it's a little chin tuck. You know when you're doing it right, because you can feel this extra chinage under here. The chin doesn't need to dip, it just stays nice and level. See if you can hold that openness. And then we're going to rotate the head on a turntable. Nearly always do this one. And if you're not sure if this is staying steady, you can just rest a finger or two here. And if it feels like it's pulling, it's just a bit tight. You might need to go back and forth a few times. I've been on a train earlier this week, doing a little journey, doing a little visit, and it's made my back stiff, just that sitting in a different way for a prolonged period when you can't move very much. It doesn't take much. So just to ease it out, just keep everything moving. And bringing it back to the center, and now a little side to side tilt. So trying to keep those shoulders still again. And it might be, if you feel your shoulder doing this, it might be you just do super small like that. If you've got stiffness, any arthritis right at the top of your neck and your cervical spine, you might be on super small moves as well. It's fine. We go with what we can. The super flexible people will find their head goes too far. They might have to resist a little bit, just put their hand there just to stop it going too far. I can see my shoulders moving a bit this week. then we're going to take it back here with that chin tuck. And then this chin's going to come almost like it's squashing, imagine an orange or a lemon, just squashing down there. So you can see my eye gaze has just gone downwards. I'm not looking at you anymore. I'm just going to take it over to the side, back to the middle, like I'm squashing a lemon or an orange, and then back to the side. So keeping this little squash feeling, which gives us a long neck at the back. It strengthens our neck a little. Rather than just letting the head hang like that, that wouldn't be very comfortable. So we're just providing a little resistance of our own. And you can always close your eyes for any of these. Oh, I love this one. Feels good. And then I'm going to roll the head up. Let's do something for the shoulders. Single. That's it. Just going for each side, seeing how it feels. Trying to let the shoulder lead the way. You might find that one side you've got a lot of movement and the other side not so much. You might find they're quite equal. Right, I'm going to do mine together now. And I'm going to start to bring the breath into it. So as we start to come up slightly forwards, we're going to breathe in. And as we take them back and down, we're breathing out. And you can do that breath like before, when it's going into your belly and your ribs and the sides and the back. And then as you breathe out, just feeling everything sort of deflating and going inwards. If you're sitting, it's just the same. Remember, I always say in this class, you can do it from the edge of your bed, because when we do the lying down bit about halfway through, you can lie on your bed instead of the floor. And if your arms are particularly achy, you can rest your hands here. And then we're going to start to use our elbows to take it back a little bit more. So the arm is just rotating outwards a bit more. And if you can only get to this height, that's fine. If you can take it a bit bigger, let the elbows draw the circles. That's it. And then we're just going to bring the elbows forwards and take them back. Nice and loose. Try to keep it in this upper part of the spine so the rest of our body's just staying the same. That's it. Just working into this upper back section, thoracic spine. And then we'll do some pelvic tilts. Haven't done any yet. It doesn't feel right. So just dipping this bottom of your bottom down. I like a hand on the back and a hand on my belly, because I can feel how it changes. Often in Pilates we say this is like a bucket of water. This is the tipping forwards. So I've got a little curve in my back there. And then you can see my belly moving backwards. That's tipping the bucket the other way. I always found that a bit hard to visualise. I just like to think of tipping this sort of tailbone downwards and then take it the other way. That's it. Feeling what your lower back's like today, and then somewhere in between. So it's neither like this for me when I'm a little bit arched, it's neither like that where I'm really tucked under, it's almost gripping under, just somewhere in between that I can hold it. And then we're going to take an arm up as high as it will go, and then it's going to open back. But did you see my knee move then? So I'll show you from the side. See that knee coming forward, so I can just turn the body without it going into my knee and twisting. So nice and soft. This is mindful Pilates, so we tend to do it a little softer than a standard classical Pilates. And the moves sort of derived from the classical repertoire. That's it. We've done all one side so far, so we're going to swap over. And if you're doing it on your chair, you can see how this knee is just coming forwards. My heel's coming up a little, just so I can get around. You can even sit slightly to the side of the chair. I'm still on it, just so I don't crash my arm into this chair back here. Let my eyes follow my hand, so there's some rotation going into the spine as well. Breathing in and then breathing out. And then we're going to take it into the legs, so a little bit of warm up there. Right, one leg, so you might want to take a little balance here. I'm just got my hands on my hips. I'm going to work this leg. I'll show you in the chair in a second. Taking it forwards to the side, taking it back a bit. Here it is from the side angle. So I try when I take my leg back not to do that too much. Just a little movement backwards. And you can even do it with your leg floating if you're feeling good on your balance. So that's the standing version. Keep going on the same leg. Sitting version. Sliding my foot forwards, sliding to the side, sliding underneath the chair. Depends what you're sitting on. You might need to come quite far forwards so you've got room for your leg, even if it's just going back a little way. And then we're going to do the other side. So remember, you can always have a little balance on something. A nice thing to use, this is one of those floor mop attachments, you know, when you put like a wipe thing on the floor. But for a bit of balance, it's quite handy. Nice sturdy stick. You just want to make sure that it's not on a slippy surface. You don't want to slip away. That's it. Put a chair, sideboard, mantelpiece, it will all be good. And let's go into our hands next. Clasping them together, keeping the elbows in, trying to get right into the wrists. I know they don't always like it, but just trying to keep them moving. And then let the wrists come out a bit more. We're doing a sort of infinity figure eight on its side sort of shape. You can see the arms starting to move a little bit looser, let the knees go with it. And this reminds me of a sort of rowing boat sort of action. Or maybe some bizarre style of gardening, I'm not sure. Just letting the legs be soft. And then letting the arms open out. That figure of eight is big. So this is going right into the arms and the shoulders, getting a lot of external rotation, but you can also take it a little bit into the upper spine. Gentle bend, gentle extension. And if you want a bigger bend, if your spine is happy with that, you can make it bigger. If you're sitting, open your legs a little bit so you've got room for your torso to come down. This is a great way just to get your body warm as well. Deepen your breath. Whew. Couple more. Drop off my sock. Oh, bringing it back. Right, keeping those knees nice and soft. We're going to do something with our hips. Trying to keep this bit still. Ooh, and we're sliding like that, like a little smile shape. Now, if you're sitting, it's quite tricky because you've got the resistance of the chair bottom. You can see my hips just coming up here, down, and then up on the other side, just sort of hitching it up side to side, trying to keep this bit still. Work in progress. You can see the knees help there and press into the floor. And then we're going to take it in a little circle. And you can see as we do this, we get tilts into it. So you get that sticking out bottom, tucking under bottom. And you can try and keep this upper body still here. You can do it like this. If the arms don't like being out, you can just do it with your hands on your hips. We're just trying to keep it all happening below here, so this bit stays as still as possible. Right, let's confuse ourselves, take it the other way. It's definitely nice with a soft knee. You can see my knees quite bent. if you're sitting, you can see the upper body needs to move a little bit more because you haven't got the up and down springs of your legs going. Just gets into the hips. And let's put a little bit of more rotation in now. So soft knees again. We're going to let our feet come off the floor, just twisting like this, nice and gently. If you're sitting, just letting those hands float round, but watch your knees on doing that. Press your feet into the floor. And then we'll just take the arms back a little. So take the arms forwards, take an elbow back, and just watch your elbow, bring it forwards. Same on the other side. Now if you're sitting, you do have to come to the edge of your chair, otherwise your elbow will go in the back of your chair. If you're on the bed, you're okay, you'll have that room behind you. Now as that elbow comes back, the other hand stays reaching forwards. And we're trying to get the rotation in this upper half of our body. A couple more of those. And then a little rotation in the lower part of the body. I'm just going to take a step back slightly so you can see. I'm just going to pivot. See my feet coming up there? Pivot on the heels. Toes, just lifting them up. See my legs are bent there. I'm just doing a little pivot from side to side. It's like a twist. But my legs are apart. On the chair, same. So bringing your toes up, letting your legs just have that little pivot. See if you can get your body going the other way. Couldn't get it then. Just a little twist. If you want to take a few across, or if you've got the room. That's it. See if I can get it going here. A little twist each way. Gets everything going. And then a roll down. So your roll down can be very small, taking your chin to chest, letting your knees be soft. Chin's going down, head's coming down the body. Just letting that top part of my back just curve. And an arm dangle. I'm going to breath in. I'm going to breathe out. I'm pulling into my belly here and just rolling up slowly. You can take that further down if your spine is happy with that. Weight is more into the front of your feet than the back. So that's about halfway down. Again, letting the arms dangle, letting the head dangle, head and neck. Restacking and rolling up. Sitting can be just the same. But if you want less flexion, you can also hinge. I'll show you the sitting version this week. So legs are wide, hinge straight back. I'm just going to rest my hands here and press lightly. And from this position, it's all in the bottom. Tuck your bottom under. Let that ripple spread up and then restack. Last one, hinging forwards. I'm going to go a bit further and then tucking our bottom under, letting that ripple spread up and then taking that back there. Right, we're going to make our way down to the floor. So I shall see you down there. I'm just going to move my chair here. Change the camera angle so you can see me down here on the floor, and I shall see you down here on your floor or bed. That's it. And you're lying on your back with your knees bent. Oops. I just set my little timer so I can see what we're all doing. And I don't usually like my head on anything, but if I'm in a class and I'm teaching, I go and check that everybody is looking up towards the ceiling. If you're tight in the back and your head is tipping back, Or even if you don't feel tight in the back and your head is tipping back, you probably need something underneath here to help. Just, it could be a folded towel, a small cushion, might be something just in the neck, but you'll find once that's there, it often helps that lower back too, and you're not looking behind you, you're looking upright. Right, from this place, from this position, check in with your feet. I'm going to take my legs together, heels are coming out, toes are forwards, nice position. So I'm looking for this little space. Now you can't see it, and I have to really reach to find it, but I know it's there. Little space behind my lumbar spine. I'm going to take a breath in. So that breath's going into my belly and into here. And as I breathe out, I want to feel underneath my hand here, the muscles just pull away. So I've got the skin and the fat on top, but it's the underneath muscles. I want to feel them activating across here. And I'm going to take another breath in. Now, whilst I'm doing this, I want to feel these muscles pulling inwards. I don't want them to sink down like that. You can see it just sank down and my bottom tipped up. I'm trying to keep that little space there. So I'm consciously keeping that space there as I'm pulling in. Let's try it now with that tipping sensation. So we'll take that breath in. As we breathe out, feel the muscles tighten under our hand, and then tip your pubic bone, your pelvis, towards you. Now I feel my lower back here is really squashing and my bottom is slightly tipped up. I'm going to rock forward. Take another breath in. As I breathe out, just pulling these muscles in, tipping my pelvis upwards. Breathe in. Right, now I'm going to leave the tipping alone. I'm going to keep this all still. I'm going to put my hands down by my sides, palms up and a little bit away just so they're comfortable. We're trying to keep all this part of our body here nice and soft and comfortable, not gritting our teeth or tense. So nice and relaxed. Here though, I'm holding these muscles in. I'm tightening across here. I'm going to slide a leg away, keep the other leg still. Flex the foot. Bring it back, keeping all this level, keeping that little space behind me. Oh, the other leg is sliding away. Flex the foot. Slide it back. Keep that going. So we're trying to keep this pelvis steady. It's neither arching sort of that way, it's not tipping under, it's that in between. So you have to keep this tension going here like you're wearing a gentle corset. You've got tight jeans on. Just sliding those legs away. Now if that's feeling okay, the next thing you can do is bring your arms in, palms down, and then just lift them off the floor. Shoulders are still on the floor, but the arms are up. Hands are just an extension of the arm. Becomes quite a bit harder, doesn't it? If that's too much, you could dip your arms like that. So part of your arms off the floor, or take them up, palms facing is nice. But that, your arms are heavier this way. That's why it's harder. Harder to control, harder to keep all this nice and calm. Really flexing those feet. And then just have a little rest. You can bring your feet together, your arms wide. And just let your knees fall out and in. Rolling onto the side of your feet. Like a butterfly, we call this. And then we're going to do that same movement again, but slightly different. So I'll just put the hands down by the sides here. This time my leg, see it's not, my foot's not in contact with the floor, it's floating. And I'll flex that foot still in the air, bring it back, keeping all this nice and still, that little space behind my back, just floating. And you're dealing with a long lever, your whole leg. That's it. If it's too much, slide it on the floor just like we did before. This is the floating version. And if that's okay, guess what? Those arms can come in again. And you can do that long armed version where those hands are reaching down towards your feet, keeping them just off the floor, trying to keep your neck relaxed. You could take it straight up here, that's a bit easier. I'm trying to remember what my feet are doing. You could take it down here, or you could keep changing it. Let's have those arms long one more time. Keep that tension going here. And then arms out to the side. We'll do that little butterfly flap again. That's nice. And then we're going to stretch our legs super wide. Just pull my leggings up. Arms out wide, star stretch, you can see why. And just try to lengthen everything. Take a breath in. Stretch as far as you can. And then as you breathe out, just let it melt and soften. Take a breath in, stretch, 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 stretch. And breathe out and soften. And then just tighten your glutes underneath. And you see it just brings up your hips each side. Just lengthens along here because we've had our legs bending quite a lot. That's it. And then bend your knees. We're going to roll onto our sides and then onto all fours. Now, if you don't like all fours, don't panic. Lots of options. So if you're okay in all fours, go like this. If your wrists are not happy, but your knees are okay, you can take it like this or like this. And if your knees aren't happy, take it up onto a surface like this. So I'm still in an all four position, it's just slightly different levels. Now from that position, if you're on the floor like this, just check that your feet aren't coming in together. They're spaced out, just like your knees. Press away from the floor. You have to almost imagine that you're pressing away like under your armpits as well. And then we're just going to tuck our bottom under, let that ripple spread up to our head. And then take the bottom upwards. Let that little arch come in your back. Doesn't have to be big. What I'm going to do at this point where I've got a little arch, just take my chest up a bit higher and my head goes up. Keep going with that. So tucking under, taking it up. From the chair, goes like this. Tucking under, taking it up. And if I was standing, tucking under, taking that chest up, small arch in the back. Variation on a cat-cow move. And then we're going to bring in thread the needle move. So in your all fours, take one arm, one hand, it's just going to go in this little gap here. Just look where that hand is going and then take it back. Same on the other side. And whilst I'm doing this, my back is fairly flat. I'm pulling my belly towards it, not like that. My bottom's not up anymore. That's it. So it's just like you're posting your hand through this gap. Now, if that feels okay, this one works really nicely in that standing position, or in that position using a chair or a sofa. That feels okay. You can take your hand up by your ear and just like you're taking your elbow down, and then you take it up. Elbow down towards the other arm and up. Just doing 3 on this side. And then 3 on the other side. And then if that is feeling All right, you can either carry on like that, but to take it a bit bigger, you can take an arm up. I'm going to look to that hand, and then I'm going to post it through here. You can even bend the supporting elbow. Same on the other side. It's really nice rotation into the upper part of our back. That's the last one. And then take yourself to sitting. Sitting comfortably, however you want to sit. Might be like this, like that, doesn't matter. Whatever's comfortable. And so that you can sit your spine upright. And then one hand's going to one side. We'll just take one arm over. Just going to turn my palm so it's just going over my head, nice and slow. But sit your bottom really so it doesn't do this. Your bottom stays on the floor, a bit of resistance. And then push that hand away. I'm going to do a little swap over mid-air, like you're in slow motion. So as you bend over here, you're opening up this area here. Really press your bottom down, both sides. Little swap over again. And then this hand is going to just circle forwards towards you. If your legs are crossed, you might want to, just for a moment, swap them round. If they're not crossed, you're good. Just as you circle forwards, you just feel it evenly. And that's the last one. You can take your palms out to the sides, take a big breath in. Bring your hands together to your heart center, to your chest. Well done. Another session finished. I'll see you again next Wednesday.